Today, I want to talk about the concept of invisible AI, which I think is really the way most AI will appear to companies and people. Not sure what that is? Let's jump right in. Hi there, my name is Ruben and I'm an expert in data and decision making, and I help companies turn their data into insights and actionable decisions. Now, one of the things that comes up often is AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. And a lot of companies are rushing to try and build capabilities around this. And I think that's a valuable way of thinking about it. On the other hand, I also think there is this different form of AI that will affect all companies and all people, but they won't even know it. And that approach is slightly different from the current approach of hiring and building and really build a strong internal capability for AI. So I call this invisible AI, and here's my argument for it. First, AI is already here. That is, you, no matter where in the world you are already impacted or touched by AI in some way on a personal basis and professional basis. Think about this. If you use Google Maps, Google's using AI to try and find the best route and actually rerouting you along the way. I was driving with a friend recently with Google Maps, and Google Maps on Android at least, and likely on Apple, it'll find different routes as you're driving, and it'll tell you, hey, we found a different route. Do you want it? It'll save you 5 minutes. This is all AI playing a role, machine learning playing a role to do this. Food delivery, of course, uses the same ideas, the best routes to drop food. If you have any kind of advertisement, if you look at any advertisement today on any platform, Facebook, Instagram, and so on, this is all being managed by AI and trying to show you the most likely ad that you would convert. And of course, if you're running ads, the same thing is applying. And there's countless examples. Fraud detection, your credit card charges and purchases. It used to be that if you use your credit card outside the country, your main country, you would get flagged. If you did it too much, your credit card might get canceled right away. That's actually changed. Now in some banks, for example, in my bank, you don't even have to tell your bank that you're traveling outside the country. It detects it based on machine learning if this is a likely fraudulent transaction or not. So we're seeing all the elements of AI already in our lives. And there's likely 5, 10, 20 other examples we could come up with in just a daily average day in which AI is already here. So if it's already here, but we don't recognize it, we don't see it, this is where we get invisible AI. And this is, I think, the way AI will be done for most companies and most people. That is, it will be built into their CRM, their email marketing software, maybe the way they hire people, the way they process resumes, the way they use apps, so personal apps or professional apps. So most companies will be able to take advantage of AI, but they won't even know it's AI. It's invisible to them, professionally or personal. And that's where we get an interesting path. If all this AI is invisible and we're getting the value of it, the benefits, should we invest in AI? So the way I see it, I think companies have two approaches. You can either invest in hiring data scientists and building teams and models and machine learning, or you can take advantage of all this work that someone else is doing. Now, granted, someone has to do the work. Some email marketing providers have to build AI into their software, but if you're a small business, if you're perhaps a manufacturing company, even if you're a large manufacturing company, can you still benefit from all this AI without having to do this internally? That is, can you buy the right vendors? Can you buy the right software, access the right processes that let you take advantage of AI without having to invest in it? The question becomes, can you get all those benefits without having to go through all the trouble of hiring your own people and building your own models and just take AI off the shelf, so to speak? And even in the models itself, I think we'll see more off-the-shelf approaches for AI. What does the manufacturing plant do when they manage supply chains? They might be doing it through an existing software, so they simply change the software to one that has AI and gives them what they want without having to build a data scientist who does the logic for them. So two approaches, quite valid. And as a company, you have to think about what is the right approach for you. Are you going to go to the trouble of building your internal capability, or are you going to simply bring in expertise in the form of software or something else that gives you all the benefits without the troubles of hiring? And that's all I have for today. This concept of invisible AI, I think, will keep growing. Look out for it. Notice how much it actually plays a role already in your life. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share it, talk about it. You'll find buttons all around YouTube. And in the description box below, you're going to find a few links that I think are quite helpful. First, we have the Data Mirage. It's my first book. It is out now anywhere you can buy books, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, BAM, and it covers how companies can get the most out of their existing data. And there's even a chapter on artificial intelligence, beyond the basics, as I call it, and how as a company you can start getting ready to tackle AI. Number two is my weekly newsletter, The Growth Needle. I share similar ideas like this one every week in a written format, usually weeks in advance before it goes out to any other channel. So make sure to subscribe and look for that. It is free. Number 2 is Twitter. I put out tidbits, short ideas in a tweet format, of course, and it's a great way to engage with me on a daily, regular basis. So those 3 links are all in the description box below. Finally, make sure to use the comments to tell me what you thought, reactions, questions, comments, maybe you disagree with me. Put it all in the comments. I love to read it. Other people will love to read it, and I'll see you next week.